Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by the movie Hangout. The topic of this video is Ellen is mean. Apparently that's what people are saying. So an article came out here on Variety on April 16th titled Ellen Crew Furious Over Poor Communication Regarding Pay Non-Union Workers During Coronavirus Shutdown. Exclusive. Anytime there's the word exclusive in parentheses and is in all caps, it's going to be something. So let's just go through this. Now, there have been a lot of rumors over the years about Ellen not being a very pleasant person. So when she's on stage of her show and she's like dancing around, and I never really understood what that was all about, but as she's like dancing around and stuff and smiling, people are like, oh, wow, she's so nice. Well, a lot of people behind the scenes say the exact opposite. So we're going to go through that. But for right now, let's read this article. Crew members from Ellen DeGeneres' long-running daytime talk show are distressed and outraged over their treatment from top producers amid the coronavirus pandemic. Numerous insiders affiliated with the series told Variety. The core stage crew for the Ellen DeGeneres show, consisting of more than 30 employees, received no written communication about the status of their working hours, pay, or inquiries about their mental and physical health from producers for over a month. That's actually quite a while, said two sources, both of whom spoke on the condition of anonymity. Probably a good idea. You don't want any repercussions. Higher ups in production would occasionally answer phone calls but reveal little, added one of the sources. The crew was further incensed by the show's recent hire of an outside non-union tech company to help DeGeneres tape remotely from her home in California. When production executives finally did weigh in, nearly all crew members were told last week, wow, this is really bad. All crew members were told last week to brace for a 60% reduction in pay. 60%. That's crazy. I mean, I could see maybe like a 15%. A lot of executives and higher ups are taking like a 15% pay cut, but if you work as a crew member, now a lot of people don't know this. I've worked with guys that work in crews, like on movie sets, TV shows, talk shows, and they're great people. Like, I mean, it's just a blue collar job. You're picking stuff up, you're moving around, you're doing the lights, you're doing the sound, you're doing, the set decoration. I mean, it's physical labor, but it's an extremely important job. Without those people, you look like crap. I mean, you're going to look worse than I do right now on this computer camera with a rinky-dink light, Like if you didn't have people that knew what they were doing, like the crew guys and crew ladies, then everybody would look like a goblin on television. Who wants to look at that? So 60% reduction in pay, even as the show continues to air, according to sources close to the matter. That's ridiculous because all these people have families, and oh, I mean, it's awful. Only 4 core crew members currently work on the remote version of the broadcast, who find this treatment to be totally inconsistent with Ellen's daily message to her audiences: be kind. That's something that I've noticed too, is that she's all about saying like, be kind, be giving, when it's like, do as I say, don't do as I do. It's just, that's an ongoing theme that I've noticed with her. It goes on. A spokesman for Warner Brothers said, our executive producers and Telepix are committed to taking care of our staff and crew and have made decisions first and foremost with them in mind. Yeah, that's corporate speak for, we don't care. You can quit if you want. We'll find somebody else to replace you. That's basically HR corporate speak right there for that. It's so annoying because we all know what that is. Like, we've all heard it so many times from where we work or from other big companies, that we all know what that is. I don't know why they just don't flat out tell you the truth. The lack of transparency continued as DeGeneres expanded her output from hosting 4 shows a week to 5, shot over 2 days, said individuals. Radio silence from producers created anxiety among crew members who feared they would be furloughed, and in that case would need to explore unemployment benefits. So that's one of the reasons why, like, the producers drag out the communication. So let's say you call like on a Monday. You're not going to hear anything probably until like Thursday, right? And when they call you back, they'll let it ring like once, and then they'll hang up, and then that way they can say that they actually tried to call you. And when they do call you on Thursday, they'll say, "Oh, yeah, we want to get back to you. We're looking into it." And then it'll drag out to the following week. Meanwhile, all of that time, you could have either been looking for a different job, or you could have been filing for unemployment, or trying to figure out, you know, do I gotta clean out my pantry, and eat canned stuff because I'm not going to be getting paid. I mean, it's so selfish and ridiculous, especially when a person like her makes like 60 million a year. It's insane. On April 2nd, the majority of crew members were shocked to discover that DeGeneres had a remote set erected at a residence where she was taping. Of course, it's all about her. A fact they learned via social media posts. Let's see here. And then it goes on and on. When returning from break, the crew was paid the week of March 30th, despite having no firm plans for production to resume. Pay reduced to 8 hours from 10 hours per workday for the week, the 30th. And adding insult to injury, sources said that while most of the crew was left out of work with a reduced pay, the remote production has hired Key Code Media, a Burbank-based audiovisual house, to help produce technical elements of the show. And here's what she did. Big shows like the Ellen Show, the Tonight Show, the Jimmy Kimmel Show, because they're backed by a major network, they have a lot of money. There's a lot of money behind them, right? The billions of dollars. So what the crews do is that they all like join together, and they join a union. They either create a union, which happened years ago, and so new members join the union. That way you have job security. That way you can't just like have your whole life like turned upside down. That way if you're working hard, um, an old union saying is, what is it, like a fair wage for a fair day's worth of work, right? And so that's basically what's going on. There's I think it's called the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees Union. That's what it's called. That way you have job security. That way you can maybe get a pension, you can get health benefits. Because if you do enough blue collar work, you're eventually going to get hurt. Like you might stub your toe, you might break your arm. If you've been doing it for 25, 30 years, you might have like a bad back or something. And you don't want to be thrown away like a robot or something, because you're a person. And so what she did was, she knew she had all these crew members who are in this union who are getting paid a fair living wage. That way they can actually live in LA and help her. And so what she did was she looked at this coronavirus as a business opportunity. So rather than doing her show and still paying them 100%, she could have paid them 90% or 85%. That would have been more reasonable. That way they could help provide for their families and have security. Instead, she looked at that as a business opportunity, and she hired a non-union company, which she can fire immediately if she wants to. They're like at her beck and call. And a non-union company will always make less than a union company because there's no collective bargaining. So she's still doing her show. She is able to do it more conveniently because she has a setup in her mansion, and she has to pay a crew even less. Does that sound fair to you? Does that sound like her motto, be nice or be kind? I don't think so. It's not very nice, and it's not very kind. Due to social distancing requirements, technical changes in the way the show is produced had to be made to comply with city ordinances, blah, blah, blah. Jimmy Kimmel Live stagehands were paid from host Kimmel's own pocket during the initial COVID-19 shutdowns. Two insiders familiar with that set told Variety and since returning to the air network, ABC is paying their full rates. I guess, let's see, John Oliver, Samantha Bee, blah, blah, blah. I guess all of them, they're all getting paid at 100% what they normally do, except for Ellen. Pretty nuts. And yeah, it says the creative delivery economics, hours, taping time, staff structures, etc. are completely different for a daily talk show, said Warner Brothers. Her total net worth is reported 330 million. Absolutely nuts. And what a lot of people don't know about Ellen is Ellen actually owns, I don't know the name of it, but she owns a real estate company. So in a given year, she makes between 15 to $40 million from that real estate company. I mean, when it comes to business, Ellen is really, really smart. Unfortunately, she's just not very fair with her employees. So something to think about. Pretty crazy. Another thing too is this guy named Kevin T. Porter. He did this thing on Twitter back in March that has gone viral. I don't know if you've seen it, but he said, right now we all need a little kindness, like Ellen DeGeneres always talks about. She's also notoriously one of the meanest people alive. Respond to this with the most insane stories you've heard about Ellen being mean, and I'll match everyone with the $2 at LA Food Bank. And these are really funny. You should go through these and read these. Here's a guy. He goes, she has a sensitive nose, so everyone must chew gum from a bowl outside her office before talking to her. And if she thinks you smell that day, you have to go home and shower. Another one. A new staff member was told every day she picks someone different to really hate. I've heard that as well. It's not your fault. Just suck it up for the day and she'll be mean to someone else the next day. They didn't believe it, but it ended up being entirely true. Let's see here. Oh, here's a good one. A friend of mine told me about a custodian she knew who was fired because he was slightly autistic and forgot he wasn't allowed to look or speak at her, and he loved greeting everyone. I don't know if that sounds a little far-fetched, but who knows. And they just keep going on and on. Look at all these. Look at all these stories from people that used to work with her and now are just like, they just give zero Fs. They don't care anymore. But I don't know. If you got some time, which we all do, I would definitely read that thread. But anyway, thanks for watching. And as always, if you want to get future rants, reviews, or original content, click subscribe. Thanks for watching.